This is the Shock Absorber Netball Academy at intosport.com. In this guide we're going to demonstrate the key points for a one-handed bounce pass and a progression called the spin bounce pass. Being able to pass in a variety of ways at different heights and over varying distances is really important. The bounce pass is a great pass to have in your skills locker. The bounce pass is mainly used for feeds into the goal circle over short distances. You'll see centres and wing attacks using this pass as it's a good way to reach the stationary shooter who's been well marked. The bounce pass is a great pass to keep the ball away from the defender. The spin bounce pass is a progression of the basic bounce pass. By putting spin on the ball as you throw it, the ball changes direction as it bounces. Like the basic bounce pass, you'll see the spin bounce pass used in and around the circle, especially between circle feeders, the centre and the wing attack, as they move the ball around to create new space for the goal attack and goal shooter. The spin bounce pass is virtually unstoppable when it's well executed into a shooter who lunges wide to receive it. The basic bounce pass can also be used for longer passes around defenders with a long reach, and is also a good pass for players running onto the pass. Another situation where this pass is effective is when there's good aerial defence and the wide passing lanes are well covered. The basic bounce pass can be thrown using one or two hands. In this guide we're going to look at the one-handed bounce pass. So let's look at the key points of the one-handed bounce pass you'll need to remember. You have the ball in your hands. When you look up and assess your passing options, you realise a pass over the top is not the best option, so you make the decision to throw a one-handed bounce pass. Start with the ball in both hands in a comfortable standing position with your knees flexed and your eyes on the target of where you want the ball to bounce. Using both hands, bring the ball back to the side of your body at about waist height or hip height, with your throwing hand spread behind the ball. As the ball reaches the furthest point of the tape bag, release your non-throwing hand, step forward and engage your core muscles. This forward step adds stability and power to your throw and builds a barrier between the ball and a defender on that side. To throw the pass, push your hand through from behind the ball, then follow through with your arm and fingers. As the ball leaves your hand, your weight will have moved forward over onto the knee of your leading leg. The key to the bounce pass is placement. You should aim to bounce the ball 2/3 of the way to the intended receiver. Make sure the ball is kept low so the defenders can't reach it. The receiver should catch the ball at around waist height. Once you've thrown the pass, remember to recover quickly and be ready to move to receive the next pass. So now that you've mastered the basic bounce pass, let's have a look at a progression called the spin bounce pass. If you're a feeder into the circle, then this will be a great skill to practice. Putting spin on the ball will allow you to create a pass that would otherwise not be available when the passing corridor is blocked. Set up in the same starting position as the one-handed bounce pass. The main difference with the spin bounce pass is that you need to make sure the pads of your fingers are firmly behind the ball. You then need to rotate your wrist quickly inwards as you force the ball towards the ground. If you're throwing the pass with your right hand, then you'll spin the ball anti-clockwise, and if you're throwing with the left, it'll spin clockwise. Like the basic bounce pass, step forward and aim for the ball to bounce 2/3 of the way to the receiver, and your hand should finish with a flick to ensure you get maximum spin on the ball. You'll need to consider where the ball bounces to. The ball needs to bounce in a slightly wider position to take account of the direction change from the spin of the ball. If you've thrown the pass properly, then the ball should bounce and spin across towards the receiver. It's important to get the bounce right so that it bounces up to an ideal catching height. If bounced too hard, it may allow defenders to get a hand to the ball, or the spin may not bring the ball towards the receiver. It can be a difficult pass to master, so make sure you practice the basic one-handed pass first and then progress to the spin variation. Okay, so that's the one-handed bounce pass and the spin bounce pass progression. Let's recap on all those key points. For the one-handed bounce pass, start with the ball in both hands with the ball at hip height and your knees slightly flexed. Using both hands, bring the ball back with your throwing hand spread behind the ball. Release your non-throwing hand, engage your core muscles and step forward with the opposite leg to the arm you're throwing with. Push your hand through from behind the ball and then follow through the ball with your arm and fingers. Aim to bounce the ball 2/3 of the way to the intended receiver and aim for the ball to reach the receiver at waist height. Now for the spin bounce pass. Set up in the same starting position as the one-handed pass. Make sure the pads of your fingers grip firmly behind the ball and then rotate your wrist quickly inwards as you force the ball towards the ground. Like the bounce pass, step forward and aim for the ball to bounce 2/3 of the way to the receiver. But remember that the ball will need to bounce in a wider position. Finally, for both passes, remember to recover quickly and practice both passes using your left and right arms. So now that you've mastered both these skills, why not look at the two-handed bounce pass, or perhaps find a drill to practice your new skills. Intosport.com, the home of world-class sports coaching online.